Que hola Cahueta, we're back with another book review. Last month we said we were going to talk about Malcolm X Talks to Young People and Frantz Fanon, Black Skin, White Mask. Well, first of all, apparently, and even says in the cover, this is an essay. So it was very, very, very boring to read this. I didn't even get past like the first, well, I got to page 23 apparently. So this is probably a good thing to, a good tip. Just open up a book if you're at the store. Just open it up. I fell asleep like reading this on the train, and I had two black women sit next to me, and they must have thought, "Oh my God, this liberal wanted to enlighten himself and is just falling asleep of the literature." Privileged prick. But fuck it. So I wish to read Frantz Fanon, Black Skin, White Mask eventually, but it seems like today is not gonna be that day. All right, not this month. Then heading on, Malcolm Talks to the Young People. I've read this one before, By Any Means Necessary. This consists of like 12 to 14 speeches, and this is 4 speeches and two short performances. On the first book, what stood out was the fact that like, you can feel the disappointment, the anger, resentment Malcolm X expresses for the Black Americans, and like the main thing that stuck with me was I understood the fear of like white Americans in the 50s. You know, like Jim Crow was still going on, like Civil Rights Act and legal segregation only ended in 64, 65. So I could understand why black people feared him, but he was just radical and didn't want to compromise, because he's like, if it's my given right, why should I compromise? You only compromise when you're wrong. And they argued they were completely right with this. And in Malcolm X Talks to Young People, I guess it depends more on the current dynamics, but two things stuck out. It was the critique of like media manipulation, how the government or like big corporate, we can put it to big corporations, influence media, the tactics they use, how they desensitize you to certain things, so the public would just generally agree with the actions that are being taken. That, and how they wanted to, like Malcolm X was vouching to make it not a civil rights problem but a human rights problem, the discrimination and racism going on in the States. So what interesting to see how he managed with this, and I'm making a video about it soon, so stick around for that. And the second book of the month was The Art of Seduction by Greene. If you're familiar with this, the format is pretty easy, or like self-explanatory, it's consistent. He starts off with a story. Out of that story there is a certain interpretation which relates to the laws or rules or commandments that are given. But I found it interesting. I didn't read the first ones. So it starts off with like the archetypes of seducers, if I'm not wrong. Let's see, give me a minute. Yeah, the seductive characters, and it has like 11 of them. Then it goes on to the interesting part, which are these light purple pages, the seducer's victim. So it's cool to know like actually what type of victim archetype you are. I found out I was the pampered royal. I gave this to my friends. They read it and they were like, "Wow, I'm the rescuer. She's the exotic. He's the da." So it's interesting to see how people recognize themselves. And then it goes on to the art of seduction, like seductive methods you can use to like spark that initial seduction, pull them on a bit more, painting, like getting the scene ready, and then the big moment of boldness when you engage. As the same with the laws of power, you know what this does? It gives you inspiration to like read other novels. Like this one had me reading The Four Agreements, I think, and Baltasar Garcian. And this one, you know, if you're into like seduction or like romance novels, like A Seducer's Diary by Kierkegaard, Dangerous Liaisons, like it gives you other literature to read. But it's still something hard to study. Like for me, it was mostly like, all right, I recognize these seductive aspects in myself, these tactics, and oh, well, I can use this tactic and that tactic, or maybe I should have done this in the past. So it's a self-reflective book, in my opinion. And if you want to study from it, you really have to be hands-on with Robert Greene's books. But after this is done, this duo, I might go ahead and make a video about how you can actually learn from Robert Greene's books. So let me know if you are interested in that. Next month, what is coming up, or like this month, you know. I'll be reading like an architecture book about Japanese architecture for school. But aside from that, sticking to the cover art, thanks to Elijah Long. He said, hey, yo, Sun and Steel, brother. Winter Solstice is coming up. Might be worth checking out Sun and Steel by Yukio Mishima again. I read it a while ago. Certain points sticked, but I remember it being like a very vague read. I was reading this late at night, so it stuck, but it didn't, you know? And after that, you know, the mind needs some relaxation. And what better way to relax than with Dune? So y'all have a blessed day. Hi, Tumos. Let me know if y'all ever read something about Malcolm X or Robert Greene, what your opinion was of it. Sun and Steel coming up. And after that is gonna be Dune Messiah, so the second book. Peace out. Hi, Tumos. Keep on reading.